Good morning and welcome to Thursday morning, Live in Your Power. I've got my little cup of coffee here. I hope you've brought your coffee or hot tea or a glass of tea, whatever. Water is great, whatever. I'm just glad you're here. So thank you so much for checking in and watching this video. What I'm going to talk about today, living in your power. Alyssa, hi, good to have you here. Live in your power is of course my new mantra, my new catch line for my business, and I love it. I love it because we all have to live in our power. To live our authentic lives, we have to live in our own power. And here's what we're going to talk about today. What we cannot enforce, we cannot command. What does that mean? Well, for me, as soon as I read that quote, I thought, you know what? That speaks to holiday expectations. What we cannot enforce, we cannot command. And that means, don't know if I'll be able to see much because of the weather. It's terrible here. Oh, yeah, you're way up in Canada. The storm's going through there, I guess. Well, Alyssa, as long as you can be on, I'm glad to have you here. So what I'm talking about is what you cannot enforce, you cannot command. What does that mean for the holidays? It means don't try to make people do things that you want them to do, because you can't enforce that. You can only control who? You can only control yourself. And guess what? That even applies to the holidays. That even applies to Christmas. So don't, it's easy, especially those of us who are moms of little kids or grown kids. My son is grown, but still I have expectations about how Christmas is going to go. And, you know, if you watch Hallmark movies, Hallmark Christmas movies, they're fabulous. They're really good. There's never any bad words. There's never any bad, anything you wouldn't want, you know, even a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6-year-old kid to watch. But everything turns out fine, doesn't it? Everything turns out fine. And every single time they're about to kiss, something happens and they don't kiss. And every single time they finally do kiss or they're happy, it starts to snow, right? So predictable, but it's always good. Well, life is not like that. Life is not predictable. Life is kind of messy sometimes, especially at the holidays. If you're like me, I have great expectations. It's not that I expect a Hallmark holiday. It's not that well, maybe on some level I do, but really not. Really what I expect is for the holidays to be joyful and to be kind and to be good. And then I get my feelings hurt because my expectations are too high. I don't know what I expect exactly, and I have not spent the time, I'll admit, I have not spent the time to sit down and think, all right, what is it about the holidays that doesn't happen that I want? Because I get my feelings hurt. When I stay in Florida where my son is, and I love spending the Christmas holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas with my son and his kids, but I've chosen to come to Connecticut for the holidays because I get my feelings hurt. Isn't that silly? It's silly on my part, but in order to not feel that way, to not feel angry and hurt and frustrated and anxious, I just remove myself from that situation. Now, maybe I'll feel different next year. Maybe next year we'll stay and figure it out. But, you know, I also feel like it's not fair. When I was married I was married to an abuser, and of course, everything went his way. So we never spent Christmas or Thanksgiving or any other holiday with my family. We always went to his family, right? So I know a bunch of you can relate to that. And I felt guilty about that. I felt guilty that I was not going to my parents' house. Sometimes, you know, it was very difficult to tell my parents, well, we're at his family again. I know that was hurtful to them, and that's part of my expectations, you know. Now, I feel like, I don't know, it's still all rolled in there. I'm kind of talking in circles here, but it's because this is a tough topic. This is a tough thing for us to deal with directly. I'm going to take personal responsibility. It's a tough thing for me to deal with directly. So instead, Ellen and I come up to our Connecticut house for the holidays. I love snow on Christmas, just on Christmas. So this way, hopefully, I'll get some snow on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then it goes away. I'm in Connecticut. What do you think the odds are? But my point is, if I get my feelings hurt, the best thing for me to do is avoid that. And the best way to avoid that is to come to Connecticut and not have those expectations, not put my son in a position where I feels like he has to spend time with me. He has to spend time with his dad who lives nearby. He has to spend time with his in-laws who live just down the road and who are very helpful to he and his wife. So there you go. I feel like I'm helping him relieve a little bit of stress, and I'm helping me relieve a whole lot of stress. But I also feel like, gosh, should I bail? Should I bail on my son and my grandkids for Christmas? Now, here's what we do. When we go back to Florida in January, we have a big Christmas celebration, and kids get gifts again, and we do turkey, and we do the whole Christmas thing in January. Kids don't care if it's Christmas Day. Most people shouldn't care whether it's Christmas Day or whatever day you celebrate with your family. So that's what I do. That's my choice. My choice is extricate myself from situations that are potentially anxious for me, that cause my feelings to be hurt, that makes me feel like I really can't enjoy the holiday. And then I can go back when we don't have the other family involvement, extended family involvement, when I can just spend time with my son and his wife and his kids. So there you go. That's my resolve. I don't know what your resolve is, and I don't know what your holiday expectations are, but remember, what you cannot enforce, you do not command. So that means don't expect people to do things that they don't want to do. Don't think that you can tell people what they have to do. It's so complicated. The holidays are so fraught with so much crap. It's great. It's fun. It's a wonderful time of year. But we have expectations. We have images in our mind of how it's supposed to go, and sometimes it doesn't. Just understand that the only person you can control is yourself. So what can you do? What can you command? You can enforce and you can command yourself. So do you change your expectations? Do you make different plans? Do you create new traditions? What do you do? Those of us who have left domestic abuse, often we feel guilty because we tore the family apart. Not really, but that's how it feels to us. It's not a family unit anymore. And whether your kids are little or whether they're grown and have kids of their own, the holidays bring up all that family stuff again. Just remember, the only person you can control is yourself. So you cannot enforce, you can't force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. And they're not going to meet your expectations. They're going to meet their own expectations, especially when kids are grown and they have their own families. They're not going to do what you want them to do. They're going to do what they want to do for them and their family. So maybe that's going on a cruise. Maybe that's going to the mountains where there's snow. Maybe that's traveling to their other family members, or spending the holidays with their siblings instead of with their parents. Who knows? I don't know what it is, but you can hear what I'm saying is, we have expectations. We have, everybody has holiday expectations. And that's why there's so much depression around the holidays. That's why drinking and violence, domestic violence, is huge around the holidays, because everybody's on edge about expectations that cannot be met. So that's, I'm going to encourage you, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. As I've said, and as you know, the only one you can control, the only one that you can change is you. So do what works for you. If it works for you to go spend the holidays with your kids and your grandkids and your abuser, do that. There's no judgment in that. Do what works for you. So that's my lesson for today. That's live in your own power. Live in your own power. Don't let anybody else create expectations for you that you don't want to meet, and don't do the same thing for other people. Make sense? I hope it does. And I hope that you got something out of this video, that you'll share it with other people. My Facebook page now is Shatterproof. The public one is Shatterproof: Thriving After Domestic Abuse. And I have a secret page. It's also called Shatterproof: Thriving After Domestic Abuse. So if you'd like to join the secret page, just contact me. If you want to join this page, share this with other friends of yours. 1 in 3 women live in domestic abuse. There's millions of us. And this page and my business are created to support, inspire, educate women who have left domestic abuse, especially professional women who, we were in control. We were in great control in our businesses, and then we'd walk home or walk in the door, and you never knew who you were going to meet. We were not the same person living at home as we were living in abuse. And now that you're out, you're able to be you. Live in your power 24/7, 365. Every minute, every second, every day. You've got this. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. It's not quite December yet, but it's past Thanksgiving in the United States, so it's the holiday season. Tough time. It can be a tough time. You have the choice. You control your attitude. You are in charge of you, so do what's right for you. Live in your own power. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.